So we've seen how select can be used to get the data from a table. Well, sometimes your data may be spread out amongst more than one table, and you'll need a way to get that data in one query. This is called a joined query, and it uses select with a join clause to get data from more than one table. Let's take a look at an example. Now this is a joined query. Let's go ahead and run it. And we see that this is a list of countries with their continent and their capital city. Now the city is actually in a different table. It's not in the country table, it's in the city table. So let's take a look at the query. We have the select statement and the list of fields. Now you notice that each one of these columns has something before it. Here it says c.name as country. So that would be this column here. c.continent, that would be this column, and ct.name as capital. So that would be this column with the capital. From country as C. So every place you see C dot, that means that's the column from the country table, because country is being used and it's being called C. Remember our as clause. It's just like as here, only it's being used for a table name. And CT, as in ct.name, is the city table, and that's being joined as CT. So whenever you see CT dot something, it's that column name out of the city table. The on clause is the condition whereby the two tables are joined. So this on clause says ct.id equals c.capital. So there's a column in the city table called ID, which has a number in it, and we've seen that already. It's auto-incremented, and it is an ID number that identifies a particular row in that table. In the country table, there is a field called capital, and that column has a number in it which corresponds to a particular row in the city table that contains the data for that city. What this on clause does is it joins the two tables at the point where this condition is satisfied. So when you perform this select, for each row in the country table, it will find the corresponding row in the city table where this condition is met and use that data in this query. Order by country simply means that this query will be returned in the alphabetical order of the column named country, which is the name column out of the country table. So that is the joined query, and that is generally how a join works. Now sometimes you will see this query written a different way. I'm going to just show you what that looks like. This is the correct way. This is the way according to the standard, and all the modern database management systems will accept this sort of syntax. Some SQL was written before the standard was instituted, which does joins in, I think, a more confusing way, but you'll see it sometimes, so I'm going to show you what it looks like. Instead of using the join clause at all, it'll put both of the tables in the from clause. So I'll just delete this join here and put in a comma, and so it'll look like that. And where this says on, we'll put where. And this is what a query would look like in the old way. We'll go ahead and run it and make sure that it works. It gives us exactly the same result. Doesn't even look like anything happened, but believe me, it did. So you will sometimes see joins written this way. Either the code is old or the programmer learned it this way and never learned the new way. This is the same thing. It's the same joined query. It's just more confusing because it doesn't have the join keyword, so it's not obvious that that's what's going on. The clause that would be in the on is in a where, and the two tables are in the from clause. So you'll see it done that way. This is what a join is and what a join does. It's very useful. You'll see it a lot, and hopefully you'll use it a lot. When you organize your tables in a way that each piece of related information is in a separate table, you've got all your cities in one table, you've got all your languages in one table, and they're all joined together based on these ID fields. This is what a relational database is, and this is the power of a relational database, and this is how you tap into that power with the join statement.